December 5th, 2024. We have some new people in our audience, and so I just wanted to sort of let you know how the meetings run, and then we'll start our meeting. The first item is just that we record these meetings and we broadcast them live, and so if we can keep our conversations to a minimum and really try to keep it quiet in here, that would be great. We do broadcast into the lobby, so if you want to have a conversation, please take it to the lobby. Secondly, we don't take comments from the floor. We do have a sign-up sheet, and people are welcome to sign up for that. Thank you, Anne-Marie. And then during public comment, just so you know what to expect, it's your 3 minutes. We listen, and we're respectful, and we don't comment, and there's really not a back-and-forth conversation. During that time, it's just your time to speak to us. And you'll have 3 minutes, and then your mic will what's the word? It will shut off. Okay, let's see if there's anything else. We also would appreciate not having applause or booing or cheering from the audience. We really do want to make sure that this is a respectful, safe environment for everyone. And with that being said, I will turn the opening over to Councilmember Perry Oaks, who will then lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Just take a moment as we go into December. But as last week, a week ago, we had the opportunity to celebrate Thanksgiving, and it's an opportunity to be with family and with friends, and thankful for the freedoms that we have. This week, you're with family, and over the weekend, my mom had a stroke, so she was in the hospital. And now she's in a care center now, undergoing rehab. And on Monday evening, I had an opportunity to sit with her, as she can't say much anymore, and advanced dementia, and so but I'm just sitting there alone with my mom for a couple of hours, and just remembering, and I'm telling her stories of what we went through and what she did for us as a mother, and the good experiences that we had. And it just reminded me of all that I have, and I would say that we have as people to be thankful for our families and our friends. But it just brought that home even much more to me this week, just after Thanksgiving. So I would just recommend and especially as we enter the month of December, which we always are thankful for our religious freedoms and for the birth of our Savior, that we just keep that in our heart, that thankful spirit in our heart throughout the month and throughout each and every day. Because as we show our thankfulness, we realize that nothing can really get us down. And so that I'll open with a prayer, and then if you could stand with me, and we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. Our Father in heaven, we're grateful for this opportunity this evening to be able to be here in a city council meeting. We pray as we open the meeting that we might be able to have thy Spirit to be with us as we work to govern the affairs of this great city of Kaysville. We're thankful for those in attendance and pray that they might be able to learn something from this meeting, and that we might be able to cover the business at hand. And we ask that as we end, that we'll be able to travel home in safety. And this we say in Jesus' name, amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilmember Oaks. Okay, we have two people that have signed up to speak during public comment, Val Starkey and Summer Smith. So if you'll come up in that order, thank you.
Hi, Val Starkey. I have in front of me a police release of October 2nd about a male who was brought into custody, put in a police place, and gave him a false indication. Apparently, this report was sent out about 5 weeks later, there's apparently another one, and maybe there's a whole lot more that I don't know about. My concern is, as neighbors and friends within a city, how can information be shared in a way so that people have, one, a heads up and an understanding about what people can do to be a little more safe in your neighborhood? I was given from Mike the idea of talking to the police chief and finding his report and reviewing, but statistics isn't what I'm after. I don't want to be more fearful than I am. What I care about is, what can we do to share? If it's an immediate event like the lockdown, there seems to be a mechanism within the police rules or within neighbors being informed. But beyond that, unless you go to the media, and I have a problem with the media, because I went back to this report, I looked at the media, I did a Google search, and sure enough, 4 major sites covered this event 1 or 2 or 3 days later, okay? It doesn't give us a picture. Is the crime increasing? And if it is, then shouldn't we as citizens have some understanding? So if you'd think about it, maybe talk to the police, maybe understand what the rules are, but I think the citizens are dependent on knowing in order to do what we can to be safe. We recognize we have good police force. We recognize the benefits of the city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I believe I'm supposed to be here with Unsheltered Utah, but I think maybe I got the wrong night or something. But anyway, my name is Summer Smith. I'm a resident of Davis County as well, who would like to address the proposed Code Blue warming centers. My family and I have been volunteering at the movie nights hosted by the Second and Second Coalition since their first year, and can honestly say they're an invaluable service, and they've given a lot of positive values even to my family, including my teen who's come with their friends to help. I've also spent several years on the streets in freezing cold weather back in Iowa, where I was born, before leaving for warmer weather. It took someone seeing me as a person and reaching out a hand to allow me to rise above. So I just ask that the people that are against these centers to go volunteer at one of them. See the people being helped as fellow humans deserving of care. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments. All right, conflicts of interest. Does anyone have anything to declare? Nope. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to item number 4, consent items. Councilmember Blackham?
I would like to take consent item 4E off the consent, just so we can discuss it and talk about it.
Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Councilmember Adams.
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you. Would someone like to make a motion on item number 4, consent agenda?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve consent items 4A, B, C, and D.
Okay, we have a
I'll
motion.
second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Councilmember Hunt.
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you. Motion carries. Councilmember Blackham.
All right. Hey, Josh, would you mind coming up to the microphone? Or no, you can stay there. It doesn't matter. You have a microphone over there. And the only thing I'd like to discuss, first of all, this is for construction management contractor, right?
Sorry, this is for construction.
Manny.
We hired this contractor originally to assist with putting the construction plans together, identifying some value engineering,
And
how do
you're
we keep keep 200 North open while we're working on the project.
And you would like to have him for construction management. That's what I got out of it. I thought it was construction management you wanted.
Yeah, sorry, I apologize for that. This is a construction contract for 200 North, not a construction management like you'd see with, coordinating on
then
inspection services and,
Yeah, I
and things like
thought that's what it was for. It says the construction management contractor process. That's why. So it's not. This is to actually award the contract to do the work?
Correct, yeah. What we want to do is get the approval tonight so that we can execute the contract, negotiate that with Brinkerhoff. That still allows us, as we mentioned in the staff report, this is a two-phase project. There was some items that we've been looking at in terms of curb and sidewalk in phase 2 up on the east end, as well as talking about some of the kind of aesthetics of the project that would be this phase 2. So this allows us to obligate our ARPA funds, meet those requirements with the federal government, but get this project, the initial phase, going as quickly as we can.
Okay, then
I apologize.
I
for
misunderstood it, and I thought you were
confusion there.
trying to negotiate a contract then for construction management.
Yeah, no, this is for the actual construction of the project. So it'd be the repaving, the water lines.
Because I actually am very much in favor of construction management, because I think in that case where you've gone through the process of doing this project and you pretty much have approved sets of plans, when you have a construction manager like this, then they take over the project and it kind of takes the city out of it, which would in turn free you, Cody, your inspectors of a lot of their time, and you guys would just basically be a representative of the city at the weekly or biweekly meetings, and you would be able to carry on with your day-to-day duties, and you would not be so obligated to a project this size. I'm afraid if you don't have construction management, a lot of times it takes up a lot of your time.
Yeah, that was really valuable for us to be able to do on the Connector Road project, to hire a construction manager that could be there kind of full-time, coordinating and inspecting. You will see, it might not be before the end of the year, but JUB bringing another item to hire them as the construction managers for the project. They're the design firm, and they've been the coordinator on the project thus far.
Very much in favor of the project. I was just trying to, I was
Yeah.
hoping to do that. And the only reason I wanted to have the discussion is because, and I realize this is further down the agenda, was 6A was an interlocal agreement with Central Davis Sewer,
Correct.
which if you were hiring construction manager, I would say I would have Jason work with the two entities together to actually do a contract where you'd have construction management, but the sewer district would have their own contract in conjunction with, because projects always go much better when there's just one person in charge and other people aren't. And so I was kind of hoping they would filter together, but this is different than what
We're pretty fortunate in that regard because JUB actually hired, or the sewer district actually hired JUB to do their design for their sewer line replacement work in conjunction with this project as well. So hiring JUB, we have our team at JUB, and the sewer district has their own separate independent team at JUB that would allow them to then, during the construction, I think, function under that same umbrella for construction management, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I just, it's not quite what I thought it was, so.
Yeah, I apologize again.
No.
That's why we discussed it.
All right, thank you. Any other comments, council? Okay, would someone like to make a motion on this? Item 4E.
I'll make a motion that we approve consent item 4E, negotiation of contract for the reconstruction of 200 North Utilities and pavement project.
Thank you, Councilmember Hunt.
No, second.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Jackson.
Aye.
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 Okay, motion carries. Thanks so much. We're now on item 5A, a resolution adopting the proposed Wasatch Integrated Waste Management District Recycling Opt-out Program. Jason.
Thanks, Mayor. As you may recall, this was a work item at the last meeting and moved to an action item. I won't spend a lot of time rehashing what we talked about, but this is just an incentive to encourage recycling So the opt-out program would have all new move-ins to Kaysville effective January 1st of 2025 automatically be enrolled in recycling. Currently, about 80% or so of new move-ins are voluntarily requesting and paying for a recycled cart. So this would just require that remaining 20% to, and then we'll qualify for this diversion incentive of $3,500 a month. There was a request as part of that motion last meeting that we add a hardship program. So this resolution would include a hardship program the staff would roll out, and we're proposing to basically mirror the program that the State of Utah HEAT program has in place to provide heat assistance for people that qualify. So the definition of a qualifying household is any household that falls at or below 150% of the federal poverty line. And there's a table in your packet, but we don't anticipate very many people at all that would qualify for this, but it's something that's available for people that are kind of in that category, and that would we could offer them as a hardship option, and that would just allow them to opt out. What it would mean is that the city would basically just subsidize that $5 a month, but it's we don't expect very many people at all that would really fall into this area.
Okay, thank you. We don't have anyone signed up to speak to this item, so council members, any comments, or would someone like to make a motion? Okay. Oh, yes, council member.
I guess just one point of clarification is, if you currently are a resident and you do not choose to recycle, you're grandfathered in. This is for all new.
Great question. That's correct.
Okay, I just wanted to, thank you.
All right, Councilmember Adams.
I'll make a motion that we approve action item A, a resolution adopting the proposed Wasatch Integrated Waste Management District Recycling Opt-out Program.
All right, we have a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Councilmember Oaks.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. All right, work item 6, number 6, work item, interlocal agreement with Central Davis Sewer District for the 200 North Road Improvement Project. Josh.
Thank you. As Councilmember Blackham was mentioning earlier, there is a significant component of the 200 North project that is sewer line replacement work. We feel, in talking with the sewer district, as we've been coordinating with them over the last year and a half on this project, one of the big focuses is let's minimize the community impact. We want to avoid as much as possible things like having to shut down 200 North. We want to maintain that access as much as possible. We feel like utilizing one contractor for everything so that there's not this, like you were saying, too many people in the kitchen at one time trying to direct things. What we'd like to do, I met this week with Nick Mills, the city attorney, looking at an example interlocal agreement, and that's what we would propose doing, is working over the next week or so to put together a draft to bring to council that would identify, these are the sewer district's responsibilities with the project. These are the city's responsibilities for the project. They're a great partner with us. And so it's less about trying to protect the city and just clearly defining what everybody is responsible for and allowing us to try and get that project done. So I think tonight what we're looking for is if there's any questions or input that council has as we work this next week to put together a draft that we then bring back to you, what you'd hope to see, anything like that. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Josh. Appreciate that presentation. Anyone have Councilmember Blackham?
So I'm very much in favor of what Josh is saying, what they're doing here. I just was hoping that we could kind of negotiate it down to the point where, it was pretty much described what the amount of the project was, the sewer district, so that it was kind of defined in a percentage. And I am highly in favor of light construction management, where they would take over the project almost completely, which would free up our people so that they could carry out their daily jobs that they have to do to keep the city functioning. So, I mean, literally a construction management, if that's the case, and it sounds like that's what they want to do, they would be taking over the project. So literally, it could be as, for Kaysville City's participation, it could be as little as Josh or somebody he appoints to go to the weekly meetings. But as far as all the neighbor notifications, everything taken care of, water shutoffs, all that would be taken care of by the construction management company. So that means all the coordination with the sewer district would be through them, and so you'd want it defined. I would hope the contract would be defined such that their percentage would be very definitely. It wouldn't be like, oh, we think you did so much this week, or you did. No, it's defined what their percent of the project is. They pay that percent of the construction management. There's no questions on it. Then you kind of give the project to your construction management team. Then you don't have people arguing on whose is this and whose is that. It's actually up to the construction manager to get it done. And a lot of times that they can even take care of all the inspections. I mean, because the last thing I want is Kaysville City over there trying to look at how to put in a sewer pipe, because it's not ours, you know. So the sewer district, if they want an inspector there, it should be defined out that, okay, sewer district has an inspector there every day, or does construction management do that, you know? So I just want it to be clear. But I think for a project that size, to ask the city to take it on and still try to maintain and do what they do every day, because we know we try to run a little lean here, it just makes a lot of sense. And I'm hoping that's how the contract, but I would like it to be defined, so we're not arguing over, well, you know, we put this much sewer line in, but you got to come back and put the fill in it. But you see, that's up to construction manager, who just gets it done, and then you define how much of the project. That's what I'm hoping, something
absolutely.
like that.
I think you're spot on. Even with a strong partner like the district, where, you know, maybe there's less concern about arguing, it would at the very least saves time identifying, like, now whose is this? How much of that? Breaking that down, the example that we looked through, Nick and I, it had everything kind of shown in a table. You know, here's the actual line items from the bid schedule, but in addition to that,
well,
you have the construction management and the public involvement, and clearly define these are the numbers. You know, at least it's going to be this, and defining what do we do when we run into a situation where we're not anticipating something and there's going to be additional time spent. Well, specifying how that's handled exactly.
And I really don't want it. I mean, let's say they're laying the sewer line between 6th East and 7th East coming down 200 North, and they got to take the old lines out and connect them, so they have to that should not be Josh's. That should be somebody who's the construction manager notifying those people, and he's in charge of it, telling that's what you know, that, and I think that's what you're looking for, and that's what I'm hoping that we can get out of that. But I think that needs to be clearly defined in a contract, that we're subordinates of the construction manager, kind of.
Well, Josh, that's what you mentioned,
fantastic.
right? The engineering firm will handle
Correct,
that
yeah.
project
So
management.
we'll bring that at a later date, establishing that contract and having JUB act as that entity for both Kaysville City and the sewer district, those items. So yeah.
Councilmember Oaks.
Yeah, so thank you. So the budgeting for that kind of contract management, that's already in the budget for the project?
Correct, yeah. So we kind of included a lump sum item that was the project, and within that was construction management, public involvement, and construction itself, all kind of lumped into one.
I mean, that's what I figured, along with the management reserve, because it's, okay, all right, thanks.
But yeah, the Councilmember Blackham is absolutely right. You know, the scope of this project, I appreciate that more than you know. That kind of support to, hey, if we can continue to kind of tend to some of the items that we have going on from a day-to-day standpoint, being able to execute that type of contract with a construction management firm helps tremendously on our end, so I appreciate that a ton.
I mean, in reality, a lot of times and I can only speak from the building side, a lot of times when there's a construction manager, the owner, the project owner, they show up to a Friday meeting, but ultimately they're just being told what they've done that week, bring them up to speed if there's any changes, but the bottom line is the project is the construction managers until they said, give the city the keys to the project.
Yeah, they have the responsibility for it.
And I think that's, a project of this magnitude would render these guys almost to where they wouldn't be able to do their Kaysville City jobs that they need to do.
For sure. Thank you,
Yeah,
Councilmember
thank
Blackham. Oh, Councilmember Jackson.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you, Councilmember Blackham, for pointing that out clearly because it's such a big project. I know we have some residents here that live right off of 200, and I think this will allow us as a city to be much more responsive and get ahead of it, to be able to educate and keep residents up to speed on the project. So thank you for
Yeah,
everything
thank
you're
you.
doing.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. All right. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll
We're
make
moving
them.
to an action item,
Yeah.
right? Okay. I'll make a motion that we move work item A, interlocal agreement with Central Davis Sewer District for the 200 North Road Improvement Project, to an action item.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Councilmember Blackham.
Aye.
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 Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Councilmember reports. I have a small report here that Anne Marie is going to help me with. Oh, Nick is going to help me with. Okay, we're going to talk about Kaysville Gives. This is the 8th year for Kaysville Gives. It's our big Christmas fundraiser. It benefits all of the schools within Kaysville. We have 8 elementary schools, 2 junior highs, and a high school, and then an alternative high school. We have a shelter. We have food pantries. We have some subsidized housing. We've got some great needs, and we have great love for our city, and so lots of people are willing to step up. These are just some pictures that we've taken this week. We had a shopping day where the city staff members participated. They came to Target for a couple of hours and helped us shop and fulfill gift tags. And then that evening we had community and residents volunteer their time and shop. We still have about 300 plus gift tags left on Amazon. So if you'll go to kaysvillegives.com, you can either shop on Amazon. The items will be shipped to the drop-off location, so you don't have to do anything. You just pay for it and choose it. Or you can take a virtual tree tag from the virtual tree, and you can pick up the present and then drop it off. Young Truck and Trailer, it's actually Young Caring for Our Young Foundation is a huge partner in this. So is Larry H. Miller Group. Plus we have residents and so many other people that help support it. And so this Saturday, we have Fill the Fire Truck. It's an opportunity where people can drop off random gifts if they want, or they can drop off new gifts or gift tags. They can fulfill those. It's at the fire station, so please come Saturday morning. We'll have a couple of elves there. We'll have some music. It will be a lot of fun. And so we hope to see everybody. But please, if you want to participate, you want to help out, it's a great way to give back to our community and help families. Last year, we helped about 140 families. This year, I think we're at about 130 families that have had needs. And these needs have been qualified through the school district, through the school counselors, where they've identified families who need some extra help and extra love. And so there will be no duplication of families being supported. These are people who actually really need our help. And so I'd love to be able to participate in that. That is my council update. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to share?
Mayor?
Yes,
Can
Councilmember Hunt.
I just want to kind of add to that. I mean, you already covered it pretty good, but it was a lot of fun to do the shopping, because I think a lot of times you think, oh, you just get gifts for kids, but they have the kids make a list. So like these kids are going to get what they want, which I think is really cool for kids who maybe wouldn't be getting Christmas. And so, yeah, just help as much as you can. It's a great thing that we're able to do.
It is great, and all of our council members are really helpful, but Councilmember Hunt especially is really helpful in this. She's helped out for the last, I don't know, quite a few years, and brings her kids sometimes, and they get to help as well. And it's just so much fun to be able to see them get excited about buying something for someone else, and it's pretty neat. So, all right, anyone else
Mayor?
have anything? Yes, Councilmember Adams.
Maybe a strange request. It seems like there's some folks who spend a lot of time maybe making signs and they haven't had a chance to show what they are. Would you want that to be had or not? They came in a little bit late. I'm not sure.
Would you like to? Well,
Oh,
okay.
I assumed. I didn't know what was. Maybe they don't need to be said. Our meeting's about over, so.
Okay, well, let's do this in an orderly way. So if a couple of you want to come up one at a time, you can show us your sign. Would you like to do that? Yeah, well, we normally don't do this.
We normally don't. That's why I was asking the mayor if it's okay.
We don't do. If you'll just state your name, and that would be great. Thank you.
My name's Madison Kelly. I came with some friends, and we created a few signs because we as well are passionate about the warming centers in Kaysville. And so we just wanted to come and kind of support that cause and hope that we can get that message through to you that there are community members that are passionate. And you know, a lot of people are, I know there are a lot of ideas about homeless, unhoused people, but a lot of people are very close to homelessness, more than we think. And they say 60% of an average American is 1 or 2 paychecks away from being homeless. So to me, it's extremely important that there are places for people to go, and especially for those parts of the community that are very vulnerable. So we're talking people who are queer, we're talking veterans, we're talking those kinds of people who don't have family or church or community, then they don't have anywhere to go. So I think it's our job and our responsibility to make sure that those people are supported and have a safe and warm place to be. So
thank you.
Just wanted to share that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. I'll be brief. This is actually a sign that my 6-year-old drew. So it says, "Love unhoused people." We're learning letters right now. He's in kindergarten. So that's
awesome.
Love.
Thanks.
As a former foster parent and member of this community, I am passionate about resources being available to the most under-resourced people in our communities. A large percentage of unhoused people are foster kids who aged out of the system and have nowhere to go when times are hard and end up on the streets. I think most of us have had a safe place, a soft place to land at some point during our lives, and these are people who have not and have, through no fault of their own, experienced some of the life's greatest hardships. So I hope that as a community we can come together for them and make them feel like people and see them for who they are.
Thank you. Will you tell us your name?
Amanda Neely.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll just chime in. That's my wife. She's the much better speaker of the two of us. My name's Levi Neely, and I just wanted to come and say basically the same thing as the other half of the foster parent. That's something I'm really passionate about, and just making sure that there is a safe place and a warm place for these people to land is really important to us. So just wanted to have that said.
Thank you so much. And thanks for being here.
Thanks, Mayor, for letting them do that.
Does anyone else want have any comments or anything they'd like to share? Okay, Jason, City Manager report.
Thanks, Mayor. Just wanted to announce that the switch over to our new dispatch service is going to happen on January 9th at, what time is it going to be? 6 a.m. on January 9th. So we've talked about this before, but we will be transitioning from Davis County Sheriff to Bountiful. And all of the cities from Kaysville south will all be with Bountiful at that point. And again, this is going to be a significant cost savings, and we're looking forward to partnering with Bountiful. Also, we were looking at the calendar for the coming few months. Anne Marie's going to be publishing that. And the last few years, I believe we have canceled the council meeting that occurs during Davis School District spring break. And so we were looking at possibly canceling the Thursday, April 3rd meeting if there isn't any other urgent business. We will be having a lot of probably budget work sessions around that time, so there will be other meetings that'll be occurring during probably March, April, but just wanted to see if that was all right if we went ahead and put that on the calendar, that meeting would be canceled on April 3rd. Perfect.
Did you say April 3rd?
April 3rd, yeah, Thursday, April 3rd. And I think spring break starts the Friday before April 3rd, and then goes through that whole week of that first week of April. And then last, Josh and I, as well as you know, UDOT's been working on rebuilding the Shepherd Lane overpass and turning that into an interchange. We will be, we've been working with UDOT on just rolling out information. You've probably seen some things on social media, but they've asked us for some feedback. What they'd like to do is tear down the overpass, and it would cause a 90-day closure of that overpass, basically. That would occur from about May until August.
On Shepherd Lane?
On Shepherd Lane. Previously, the plan was to keep the overpass in place until they had the new one built, but this would save about 6 months of construction time by doing this.
When will the bridge be done? Or the overpass?
So if they tear down the old one and shut it down for 90 days, then they could finish up the whole project by hopefully fall of next year. Otherwise, they're looking at maybe the summer of 2026. So this would save, again, about 6 months of construction time. We think it's a good idea. They've talked with the first responders, Farmington and ours and everyone, and the school district. Sounds like no concern. So we think it's a good idea, but wanted to let you know about it, make sure that there wasn't any questions maybe that the council might have.
Is this something they want our input on, or is this more just to inform us?
Mostly to inform. I think they're really planning on going ahead, but if there was any major concerns, they just wanted to know what those concerns might be. Again, they've talked with our first responders, with Chief Erickson, Chief Oberg, and Farmington as well as school district, and there just hasn't been any concern about it. Again, I think the feeling is this probably better serves the community by just getting this project done a little bit, 6 months faster. And really, it doesn't significantly impact, I don't think, Kaysville, most of our...
No, you're talking most Farmington, but we got a lot of residents live back there on, on Shepherd, and you go down to Sunset. But I guess with the West Davis corridor open now, if you're coming from Salt Lake, you just get off earlier and go that way, and it's just a little more of a detour.
Right. I guess right now, if you took 89 and then took Shepherd all the way across, that wouldn't be possible for that 90-day period. But really especially when it's going to be during the summertime, it's really going to have a pretty minimal impact, I think, on that east-west traffic. And again, people have Park Lane down south, or they can go up to Burton. So there will be a little bit of a detour, obviously, for those 90 days. But again, the feeling was, so far from everyone we've heard from, the quicker this project gets done, probably the overall better result.
I would think so.
It'll be inconvenient, but I do agree with that. If they can just get it done, that would be nice.
Right. So we're excited about that project wrapping up, hopefully by later next year. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for your participation. Thanks for being here. Would someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
Yeah, also move.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Meeting's adjourned. Gosh, I swallowed wrong.
Wow.
Don't you hate it when that happens?
I'm not sick, but I swallowed wrong. I know. I swallowed wrong, and then I'm choking on my own.